How do you pronounce your last name?
Kauha'aha'a. Kauha'aha'a. You gotta stop it right here. Coach K is easier though.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Tell us how you ended up here.
Shoots, I was at Boise State last year. I was on the road recruiting. There was a few coaching opportunities that was available after the season. And one day I was recruiting in Phoenix and Coach Helton gave me a call. I was pretty surprised when that happened. And we talked a little bit and he said he was calling me for a reason. It wasn't just a courtesy call, and we went on and on with the conversation, had a good conversation. He contacted Brian Harsin and we went through the interview process, and you know, I guess I did a good job with Coach Clancy and him, so I ended up getting offered the job and ended up coming here.
Was there any prior relationship between you and anybody on staff?
You know, I haven't worked with Coach Nansen, but just through recruiting, we recruit the same areas.
Okay.
And I've gotten to know Coach Nansen over the years, so we've had some battles in recruiting, and so that was kind of my relationship. Though my ties to USC, but with anybody else on the staff, no, I didn't know anybody else.
You looks like you have a lot of talent there to work with. What do you think about the defensive linemen?
Yeah, we are loaded with talent. This is an athletic group. There's a lot of things that we have to address from, you know, what Coach Pendergrass wants. He laid out kind of the things that needs to be fixed over spring ball, and that is the goal. I mean, we got a bunch of talented guys. You know, I hate to bring up another school, but this group I have kind of reminds me of the group I had at the University of Utah when I had Lotulele, I had the Krugers, the Ionos, I mean that, Finaus. That's the kind of group I have here, just talented, loaded with talent. And I don't want to say NFL talent, but I think we have the potential with the group we have to be there, because all the guys I just mentioned were NFL dudes. And so basically we're starting from scratch with the D-line, fundamentals, technique, especially breaking down fundamentals. I mean, we're starting from one-on-one football with stance, just fixing stances, fixing our get-offs. Now, obviously, they learned how to get out of their stance a certain way. Talking to Coach Pendergrass, he wants it done a certain way, so I've addressed it. We're going through it as spring ball goes along. So, you know, that's something we're focusing on. And number one is stopping the run, being square, being gap sound. I think that's something we gotta be better at. Playing through numbers. When I say that, we got to be able to play behind the white line. We can't just play on the line of scrimmage. And I have the dudes that can do it. So it's up to me to get that thing done. Again, that's technique work. So
it looked like you were working more feet and quickness and stop, starting and moving, changing direction.
Yes, I think. Again, going back to me being here is one to keep our feet moving. Again, when I say playing behind the white line, or you know, playing through numbers, we have to get our feet moving. We cannot play with stalled feet, and that's something that is being addressed every single day in practice. You know, every day we are doing footwork drills. Even when we hit the sled, we're moving our feet forward. When we're doing our key reads, we're taking 3-4 steps upfield before we escape. And so, again, that's a point of emphasis, is moving our feet.
What did you see with their feet movement in this?
I got athletic dudes, man. So they caught on real quick. They're catching on real quick. We still got to. I mean, we're a long ways away. We were playing pretend football just now for 2 days. So I told these guys, come to Saturday, we start playing real football. So now everything that we've learned from winter conditioning up until now has to apply. I like the progress we made. We went from day one, making the corrections on the film, and it looks like on day 2 we addressed some of the mistakes we made, and that's all I can ask. We keep moving forward and not take any steps back. We can't afford that.
Late in practice, you were with Drake Jackson. What kind of stuff are you talking to him about?
You know, Drake Jackson, I love this kid. I mean, he's an incoming freshman, mid-year kid, and most of the time, a lot of these kids come in, no matter who they are, they're really quiet. Drake is so eager to learn. He's not afraid of asking questions. If he has a question, he's going to ask it. He wants to make sure he's right. And I really like that about him. And that's what he was just asking a question about his alignment. You know, we're playing with different alignments in regards to what foot is up, what foot is back, and that's something new for him. But what I'm trying to do is get these guys in the best situation in playing the run, all right, or playing zone reads on stance, and Drake just wanted to make sure he was right. And our football, you know, another goal for us is our football intelligence, you know, FBI. I say that to these guys. We need to be, you know, more students of the game, and that's part of it with our identifying the formation and how it gets us lined up. And that's kind of questions Drake was asking, you know. And I'm fired up about him. He's a talented football player. He's been well coached in high school, and like I said, you know, 2 days, no pads, look good. We'll see how it goes, but I don't see any drop off in Drake Jackson.
When you broke down some of the film from last year, what were some of your main takeaways with the game line?
Like I said, athletic, strong, and that's what I went off of. They were coached a different way. I'm not here to question how they were coached before. I just looked at their strengths, their weaknesses, and that's all I really cared about.
You mentioned gap control, though. You kind of felt like that was an issue that they...
That was addressed to me by our coordinator and our head coach on us being gap sound, being more disciplined in what we were doing for the defense.
How do you coach that? I mean, of course, you want that, right? And you know what it should look like, but how do you make it sound?
Coach it.
Yeah.
Again, you just rep after rep, and you drill it in their head. You don't allow them to do certain things, you know. The last 2 days, we focus on escapes, all right? And we were not allowed to go in any secondary gaps, meaning if I was shaded to my left, I had to stay in my left gap. Even if the ball went to my right, I was not allowed to go to that right gap. I wasn't allowed to go to my secondary gap. What we did was we pressed people through. We needed to get into that habit. Again, that's about being gap control. That secondary stuff will come later. We're athletic enough we can do that, but we got to be disciplined and stay in our gap. The problem is you go secondary too early, and then we lose our primary gap, and that was an issue for us.
Okay.